Dr. Tony Huge of Enhancedathlete.com talking about troubleshooting gyno with the experts here. Remy was a medical tech in the military and a competition bodybuilder, won first place in Sacramento. Coach Trevor, bodybuilding coach, and Thomas Miller, professional bodybuilder. How do we troubleshoot gyno? Step by step.
You look at the signs first, right? Your signs, they start getting itchy. You start feeling that itchy feeling, then eventually you start getting pain. And always the biggest thing was putting a seatbelt on. Your seatbelt's rubbing here. It feels like it's itchy or ticklish or something, and you start messing with it, and then it starts hurting. And then you form, there's two different types. And one of the most common, and you see it more in fattier people, is they start getting that, it's like extra fat deposit around the area, right? Just fat. And so a lot of times they'll take high testosterone, Dianabol, and they start getting puffier, but it's just fat. There's no lump. Then you have people that take nandrolone, trenbolone, and all of a sudden you see that it's a puffy lump, but it's smaller. And when you push down, you feel a lump. You feel a really hard lump.
Like a pea.
And you start playing with it, and it hurts. And anything you do is cause the inflammation. It makes it worse and worse. And then that pea turns into like a nickel size, and it starts getting bigger.
So first we have to figure out, is it just a fatty deposit? Is it a nandrolone-caused gyno, or is it an estrogen gyno? And we got the nandrolone-caused gyno would be the progesterone side. So there's two different hormone groups that cause gyno. There's the estrogens and there's the progesterones.
And then you're combining those two too. Typically a bodybuilder's combining these. So progesterone also feeds off of estrogen. So
the higher the one goes,
you can have high estrogen,
the other.
Start storing some fatty tissue over there, and then you're taking that, which is feeding off it, and you're getting more progesterone, getting a lump as well. So it's all combinations, and they enhance each other. So
for people who are not taking a progesterone type steroid, like trenbolone, DECA, or NPP, nandrolone phenylpropionate, then we're probably looking at the estrogen cause of gyno.
And in my case, because I started getting it when I was 19, and I'd done Dianabol for the very first time, but I was on tested DECA. It wasn't until I added the Dianabol and I formed the lump. So I was like, why is the Dianabol giving me the lump? It's the progesterone from that nandrolone was feeding off that excess estrogen, that estradiol, that Dianabol.
You were on Dianabol and an nandrolone at the same time?
Yeah.
They amplified each other's side effects.
Because it's a much stronger estrogen that's released from Dianabol. It's not just estrogen. It's much stronger. It's like the birth control. Yeah. And so that's being released, and that progesterone just feeds. That's why if you took enough Letro to completely shut down your estrogen, and you were taking Tren and getting it from Tren, it would go away. It would stop because there was no estrogen in your body for it to do that. It's needed in that process.
Yeah, and someone may want to skip straight to letrozole if the gyno is happening very quickly.
That's what I always
cut
recommend.
it off.
But
what if it just starts itching? It's just starting to be sensitive, so we have time to diagnose it. What's the first thing we hit it with?
My thing is, if there's Letro on the table, just do it. Do it. It's done. You did it for 2-3 days. There's no estrogen.
What dosage?
I would full dose.
2.5 milligrams?
You don't even want to play with it. You don't want that. So you just hit it. You're 2-3 days. It's gone. Then you can get on something more mild and see if it comes back. So now you can take an ADEX. You can take an Enhancedathlete. And if it starts coming back, you either up your dose or okay, we need to try Caver now. So that's how you adjust it. But if my thing is, have a few Letro tabs always. Anytime that happens, hit it hard, get it done, then get on something else. Because you still want estrogen, but then you'll know it's from this or this or this. Problem solved.
Yeah, the biggest mistake I see people making is they bring their estrogen levels down with exemestane, or Arimidex, which is the same as Aromacin, or an Anastrozole, or they use tamoxifen. You know, that's a funny thing. Tamoxifen is a SERM, a selective estrogen receptor modulator, and yet it doesn't do anything for progesterone-caused gyno.
Those are totally separate. One binds to that site, so it's stopping it at the site source, but then you have prolactin. And tamoxifen can actually make prolactin side effects worse.
See, the problem is we have to, don't forget what you said, we have to identify what is the cause of the gyno. For the long term, we all have different sensitivities.
That's why you said troubleshooting.
So what do we start with?
The Letro, kill it, get it done.
Okay.
Then you pick one. We're going to do the Exemestane, or we're going to do the Arimidex. You start picking them this way. We're going to try the Exemestane, and you're going to start at half, whatever your dose is, so half a day. And you can start at one, but I would say half a day. Starts flaring up, you have one of two options. You can up the dose a little bit or try something else. Then it's also, you can do the Caver. So that's what will tell you, okay, It's not just estrogen now; it's progesterone as well.
Yeah, so Prami and cabergoline, Dosinex, those are the ones that block the progesterone type gyno.
Someone left a comment, I forgot to say that, on why I said not to take Prami on that last video.
Everybody wants to know what you don't like about Prami.
Well, one, it hasn't been researched enough. Two, there's been a lot of people in the hospital for heart problems from Prami, and I was one that experienced that, and I had to go in right away. And the anxiety
from Prami, it affected you that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
versus Caber, I've never heard of a single person having a side effect with cabergoline.
That's why they're in research phases. You know, they're not meant for humans. That's why we don't recommend them for humans. You test them, whatever the chicken it's going to be. You test them out and see how they do, because they're not for human use yet. We don't know the potential damages they're going to cause, the long-term effect. Yeah. So they might have most of them down, and some corporation might have it out to not produce that because it'll take away from their business. So you have different.
What were you going to say, Tony?
So I heard a lot of people saying that when you have a lot of chances of getting these two things, to add really high doses or like a little more high doses of Masteron to your site. And you explain
how effective is Masteron and Proviron in preventing that?
If you're getting gyno, it's not going to ever take it away. If you're not getting gyno, it's a good way to keep your hormones in balance, because being a DHT binding to the SHBG, binding those places you don't want your stuff going. So it causes more of a balance of your hormones. So a lot better, more healthier balance of those. If you're getting gyno, it's not going to do anything.
It's too late, basically.
You can take 500 mgs of Proviron, it's not going to stop that. It does help though, it does lower estrogen. If you go get your labs done and you just add that one drug in, you'll see your free testosterone go up and your estrogen come down slightly.
And it does bind to the sites too.
Yeah.
I mean, the nipples also have DHT sites that you can kind of block it with DHT.
Yeah, so, but look at your lab charts too. Your lab charts will show it drop, not nearly enough. It'll never shut it off.
All right.
It's never that.
So back to the order of things we try. We use letrozole first to knock it out quick, and then we start experimenting with the estrogen side probably.
Yeah.
Which is the exemestane.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, exemestane. And if exemestane didn't do it, then would you try tamoxifen, Nolvadex, raloxifene,
and that would be dependent on what you're running too. Always remember, if you're running a 19 compound or a progesterone compound, anandrolone, trembolone, things like this, even anandrol is 19. You start taking these things, you got to take into consideration it could be this, a possibility. If that's something you just added in and all of a sudden you're getting the side effect, it's probably this. But if you're taking the same things and you went higher dose, it's probably estrogen.
Last point is, I've noticed a lot of people who are taking tren, they come off the tren, they're still getting progesterone related gyno, because we know it's not estrogen related. They already brought their estrogen down, and so it's almost like there's an after effect from a tren or a DECA cycle.
There's a feedback loop in everything. There's a balance, there's an equilibrium in your body, and when your body is trying to establish equilibrium, there's always a feedback loop. One's high, the other's low. They're fighting, counterbalancing hormones. So same thing, estrogen, testosterone, getting those side effects coming out. Progesterone, same thing.
Okay, guys, I was really hoping to give you guys like a perfect roadmap to follow, but as you can see, it's a lot more complicated than that. So I hope what you do get from this video is kind of all of the elements that are involved so it can help you further your own research. None of this is medical advice. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Definitely follow your doctor's supervision. Be swell and swole, my friends of freedom, my pioneers of human evolution.